Welcome to Bajan Lifestyles, where we give you the best of Barbados and all of its hidden treasures. Today we are at Foursquare Rum Distillery to give you a behind-the-scenes tour and tasting. Exclusive content, guys, so look forward to this because I am excited. I'm ready to taste some of the best rum in Barbados. The best in the world. Let me list a couple of the awards they got. Let me list a couple here, yeah?
The International Spirits Challenge awarded our very own Barbados Foursquare Rum Distillery with not one, but 4 awards in 2021. Rum Producer of the Year, Rum of the Year, Master Blender of the Year, and the Supreme Champion Spirit for Foursquare Redutad Rum.
Yes, guys, excited? Are you ready? Let's go, let's go, let's go. And there's a duck, there's a ducky.
They come in?
This day could not have started off any sweeter.
Today we are here at Foursquare Rum Distillery and we are actually watching the molasses being loaded into the underground storage. It smells amazing. You would not believe it. It looks like chocolate, but this is actually a byproduct of sugarcane. Okay guys, so I'm gonna take a little taste of the molasses right now for you to see. Look at that, it's warm and beautiful. So nice. Here you go. So nice. That was amazing.
What did you think of the taste of it?
It was creamy, it was sweet, there's such a richness to it.
It's a fantastic product to be starting with and one of the most important parts of making rum, but we'll get going and I'll give you guys a tour today.
Definitely.
Okay, so Foursquare was a sugar factory dating back to 1737. It was a working sugar factory. There was, I think, over 141 sugar factories in Barbados back in the day. Now there is one, which is terrifying.
Wow.
This one closed down in the mid-80s and was derelict. And when our family has always been in the rum industry. Since 1926, R.L. Seale was making rum. We were independent bottlers, very much like the whiskey industry. John Dewars and William Grant. We had R.L. Seale, E.S.A. Field, Martin Dorley, John D. Taylor. Everybody was an independent bottler. In 1994, my husband Richard, who's our master distiller and blender, decided he wanted to make his own rum rather than be an independent bottler. So we needed to find a good site to build a distillery. What we needed was good water, and Foursquare, being a sugar factory, has an underground aquifer running through it, which gives us good Barbados water filtered through coral stone. The sugar factory has a lot of land. We needed land for the distillery and for aging warehouses, and we found that here. Sorry about that.
Because that's the nature of the place.
It's the nature of the place. It really is. It is a full working rum distillery. Yeah. We wanted to keep a lot of the history of the sugar factory, so all of our buildings are literally revamped, and we use the outbuildings of everything and built the distillery within. Okay, so another thing that we needed for a rum distillery was molasses storage. And being an old sugar factory, there were 2 underground tanks, which are just there. They were almost in pristine condition, so it was fantastic. They were already purpose-built. So it made it very easy to build our distillery within the confines of the sugar factory and keep the history of the buildings and the sugar factory alive.
It just seemed like everything just it was perfect. This was the perfect location.
It was the perfect location, and we've been here. This is our 25th anniversary year, so it's kind of special. And like for me, you can see the grounds here. I love coming to work every day.
Yes, so
it does not suck.
R.L. Seale had its humble beginnings in Roebuck Street of Bridgetown.
Everything was done there in a small little room, and that's where R.L. Seale started, and there's pictures of Reginald Leon Seale and the whole thing right there on Roebuck Street, so it's kind of cool, but because of COVID, it's closed at the moment.
Yeah.
And the other really cool thing we have right here through the old flywheel from the sugar factory, we tried to recycle a lot of things from the sugar factory.
That's
and
beautiful.
Not just around. So we host a lot of weddings here, but the building behind here houses an offshoot of the Barbados Museum, which is fantastic. So it's a good place to come with a family because it's not just about rum. rum, it's about history.
Yes.
And Foursquare is very much about history.
Clearly, you've done an awesome job.
When we go inside, you'll get to see this was not like this when we bought it. It was a little bit of a fixer-upper. We're like right here, this was just one little square building. It was the original weigh station for the sugar factory. So the sugar cane would have come up here, stopped on the scale, which is still working, and inside. They would have weighed it and they would have carried on to the sugarcane pit. We've actually kept the sugarcane pit instead of filling it in. We worked it and made it a amphitheater. So we host events, music shows, award ceremonies, school programs, and things there.
Beautiful.
I myself have never been able to make it move by myself. But it's kind of neat that we have preserved as much of the history of the sugar factory. No, it's a huge thing because a lot of our history and culture can be like left by the wayside and disappeared. We started out as R.L. Seale and Company Limited. Our main company is still that. That's Richard's great-grandfather was Reginald Leon. But most of our brands are other rum families as well. And what would have happened is people would have bought them over and you usually close them down. You buy your competition, get rid of them, and you move up. But what we did is we tried to keep all the best products from all the different brands. So you will see Martin Dorley, John D. Taylor, ESA Field, Aline Arthur, all alongside R.L. Seale rum.
So these are all previously owned companies.
Yep.
I thought, in my lack of knowledge, I thought it was just that you came
Like a
with
brand,
different names.
nope, these are all Barbadian families. And we were all independent bottlers. In 1926, everybody was able to buy rum from the West Indies Rum Refinery, and you would blend it and bottle it yourself. So we were all independent bottlers, like a whiskey industry. So they had William Grant and different things like that. But we had R.L. Seale, we had ESA Field, we had Aline Arthur, Martin Dorley. And that's a big part of our history, is saving these names. They were not just made up brands, they were actually families that had companies here in Barbados. And as I said, instead of just closing them down, we kept them all, kept their products, and kept it going. Dorley's was the very first rum exported from Barbados, as far as I know. And we use that as our main export line. So we started with just Dorley's 5, but we've expanded on that. We have Dorley's 3, Dorley's 5, Dorley's 8, Dorley's XO, Dorley's 12, Dorley's 14. And we've kept that alive. I mean, John D. Taylor, we kept their Falernum. And it's really funny because a young John A. Taylor, who's one of the family members, is a really good friend of mine. And he says, you know, for him, when he's in London or Houston or somewhere around the world and he sees John D. Taylor Falernum, it makes him feel proud that that's his family name still out there. So it's something very important to us. We are very much about preserving the history and the legacy of all these different families. I mean, there's so many other rums that you'll have never heard of because they just disappeared.
Oh, wow. And this is knowledge that the average Bajan would not know.
Which is true. I mean, you know, we get a lot of tourists through here, and you know, we always, you know, talk to them about it. But as I said, there's going to be a big rum week in November 1st to 7th, and it's going to be an educational week. It's not a trade show. It's about talking about seminars, about teaching about the history of rum, where we've come from, how we've got here, all the people that have been involved over the years. It's going to be really, really good, and it's aimed more towards our local Barbadian, because for the longest time, it's almost like they've been neglected, and it's been like, oh, they live in Barbados, they know everything, but it's like, you know what, a lot of people don't know the history of Barbados rum, and it is so interesting, so interesting. So one of the other things we've done in the building of the distillery is we've tried to recycle as much as possible. You'll see flywheels here, there was the big flywheel down here. These are actually scrapers from the sugar factory. So you'll see throughout all the buildings, there's a lot of recycling of products. R.L. Seale was our family brand. That is where we started in the industry as R.L. Seale and Company Limited. Reginald Leon Seale was my husband's great-grandfather. Wow. And he started as an independent bottler down on Roebuck Street.
What is this one here?
As I say, this is kind of cool. This was the original crane from the sugar factory. So the cane would have come up the road, been weighed, put into the pit, and then picked up by the crane, turned around and put into the front of the sugar factory. Wow. And I always say, this is where the sugar factory part of the tour ends and the rum distillery part of the tour begins.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That was the history of Foursquare. This is a 3-part series, so you can look out for it, the tour and the tasting. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.